What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 26 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Fay Enchantress Old World Classic campaign. So as we saw last time, a magnificent fight with Reolas Beaumont facing off against Silostra Dirfan, and once again a major threat against against northern Bretonnia and, well, previously central Bretonnia has been defeated by an army of brigands, in the same way that Alberic and central Bretonnia was saved by Bertrand the Brigand. Silostra was brought low by our probably weakest army at the current time, mostly because it is nowhere near to being completely upgraded to its concept. Again, remember that this is supposed to be a range cavalry focused army, but these guys have not yet reached the rank to be able to be upgraded to chasseur, nor have the brigands with great axes gotten to the point where we can upgrade them to waylayers, and thus waylay jerks or lay traps for our cavalry to lead into. Hopefully we'll get there eventually. We do have the paladin here to offer training, though again it is taking a fair bit of time. But hey, we got an amazing battle out of it last episode, so I'm not mad about it. Anyway, in terms of what we got to do this particular episode, obviously as we left off last time, Hagen de Gisera will be attacking Barling Mott here, and we will, well, we'll do our best. They'll have, what, a stack and a half or something? A little bit more than that. Yeah, it should be a pretty fun fight. We got plenty of knights. They are the weakest of our knights, the knights errant, but, well, they need to level up, and so they need to perform the deeds and to be worthy of donning the helm of a Knight of the Realm. Otherwise, I do believe we had at least one more siege somewhere, but damn me if I remember where it was. Oh, actually, there is something I do remember. Osham Michaud, you are supposed to trade to Gotrek and Felix the elements of their caravan army, and the Man-Eaters and the Mournfangs and whatnot are actually supposed to go to two different armies, which we will... Oh, I just realized I should have probably transferred some of the units from here, specifically the Wagon Bandits and the other Brigand Raiders, because I wanted them to work together with the Mournfangs. Alright, we'll deliver them in a bit. Yeah, what are you missing then? These 6 are supposed to be replaced, but that army is on the way and will be a little bit before it gets here. But otherwise, we're at 17 out of 20. 18 will be the Friar, and oh yes, 2 more will be the Erimo Chasseurs to act as the Outriders and sort of, well, try to identify threats to the caravan before they hit it. Now, where were the sieges that I'm not remembering? Jolene, these guys are going to sally out and attack you, so you're fine as you are. Ah, these ones, yes, okay, so. Alberic's siege is not particularly interesting, partly because it's decisive victory of no casualties, so I think this one we're actually free to auto-resolve, as we obviously would have trounced them A and B since Alberic's army... Hey, Chauffeur has the savior speed reinforcement though. Anyway, Sword of the Quest, you don't need that because you will get the Lance of Artois in like 124 XP, so pretty darn close. In fact, whoa. Bretonnia has access to a regeneration providing armor? Oh wow, I did not know that. Huh. Wait, so Seed of Rebirth, just to double check. I'm pretty sure... Man, I can't believe that this is the first one we've got. Oh. Okay, I'm pretty sure that the Seed of Rebirth is a different type of regeneration, so that will actually stack. Ah, that's pretty nice. Oh man, if we didn't already have the Iron Ice armor on the Fay Enchantress, I would have given her that. And I have to think about who I want to give that to. Probably once again it'll be somebody who's on a hippogriff, just because it's a huge target and they need as much HP as they can get. But anyway, I digress. Gredos Road is secured, Miros. We will go for the Realm of Chivalry, and we do not need either of these here. Yeah, I can upgrade the wine at Verham, why not? Actually, if we could get a little bit more money, we could probably upgrade the town here. You, just out of curiosity, you would not be able to reach Verham? No. Or Jerez? Alright, so what I want you to do, Alberic, is to get outside of the settlement. It will mean healing less. Actually, maybe it's not worth it. I just worried that the rats would be able to reach us from here. and then kill Chilfoy. I'm just gonna have to hope it doesn't happen. I guess we could back him off a little bit to be safer. Yeah, they can't kill Alberic, they can't defeat him, and Chilfoy is supposed to meet up with Gustav anyway. And I don't think the rats can go from here all the way to out here, right? At least I doubt it. Oh, I wanted to switch you to spread the word. I should have done that before moving you, so that he could have leveled up over the end turn. Oh well, not a big deal, or at least I hope it isn't. Anyway, you guys are good. This siege at Cabreros, we will... Yeah, it's 2 stacks. I'm going to assume that the enemy will sally out. And I'd like for Franciscus to fight it. We will, however, level before we do, because it should be a pretty big fight. I'm going to say max out Shield of Thorns, because I use it pretty much whenever it's up, even though we are going through Shield of Combat into Enchanting Beauty at this time. Wait, do you have your Forbidden Rod? You do. Okay, good. What about you? You have Light of the Lady, you have Healer, those are the important things, so I guess you're free to move through Impassioned. Alright, Lovely and Lord. I'm going to say, we already have Headlong Valor, we do need rank 30 to get Master Farriers, so we can probably ignore that. This is fine, but nothing critical. Casualty or Punishment rate is always nice to have, so I think we'll go through Guardianship. Charge bonus plus 25%. It's for you only, and you're at kind of diminishing returns in terms of your charge bonus. So yeah, I'm gonna say Guardianship is the way to go. Alright, so you're ready. We have no money. Our heroes have moved, or at the very least I moved the heroes between the episodes, and I do believe we're pretty much ready, other than one thing. You... Nah, well, you're out of movement range anyway, so I'm not going to move you right now. Anyway. I guess we're going to end the turn and see about the potentially 2 enemy factions that sally out. I noticed that Gorbad's come back. Somehow Gorbad returned. I mean, Gorbad, if the current timeline of the game is roughly 2500 in the Imperial calendar, just before the end times, presumably. As we've discussed before, Gorbad is from 800 years ago, so yeah. But I mean, the game is just like that. Raponskir, who we just started to use, is from about 500 years ago, and... funnily enough, this campaign, this particular run, actually kind of reminds me, for Bretonnia, of about 200 years ago, and during the Great War Against Chaos, when the 12th ever chosen Asavar Kul tried to, you know, be a thorn in everybody's side. And funnily enough, and the way that we've been kind of dealing with the internal issues with Bretonnia, with obviously the north kind of in shambles, kind of echoed that situation, because during the Great War Against Chaos, Bretonnia didn't really participate. Not really a Shield of Civilization kind of participation out of it. The dwarfs helped the Empire, and Kislev, of Prague being the major sort of battle there, and Ulthuan, of course, and got invaded, but Bretonnia was absolutely busy doing its own thing, i.e. arguing over which cup really holds the bathwater. Obviously, I'm being a little bit facetious here, but yeah, there was a false grail situation. The Fay Enchantress got imprisoned. The Wood Elves were kind of causing problems, which again was reminding me of this campaign wherein Orion was destroying Quenelle at the start, and the big thing, of course, Mousillon and the huge undead problem that Bretonnia was having at the time. And while we were having an undead problem from the Drowned, who basically destroyed northern Bretonnia in this particular campaign, it's still an undead problem, and we still have one remaining to the south. But again, I kind of like the fact that we're mostly dealing with our own situation here, and kind of lorefully echoing at that time 200 years ago. Pretty neat in my opinion. Though funnily enough, regardless of the fact that they didn't really participate much in the in Great War Against Chaos, except maybe send a few errant knights and whatnot towards the end of the final battle, once the tide had been beaten back towards Kislev. But if Asavar Kul had you know, succeeded and destroyed Kislev and then destroyed the Empire, Bretonnia and everybody else would have been destroyed as well. It's not like they would have survived that. So yeah. Well, I guess we just gotta thank Magnus the Pious for you know, for carrying the day. Anyway, I digress. Let's do a fight. Hagen de Gisoro. Let's hit Barley Mott, shall we? Heroic victory, casualties mean it. This is not a... It's a field battle. Yeah, thank you. I was worried it was gonna be like that Skaven battle where we're having trouble maneuvering in the enemy settlement, but it does look like a field battle. Big issue here is gonna be the damn paladin Robert Bartholomew. And his HP is low. We need to make sure we have magical damage to tear him down. So the Paladin and Hagen de Gisoro are going to have to beeline it towards him and bring him down. Do we have any bloated corpses? Oh, there's a freaking Morgul Haunter as well. Gotta watch out for that. I believe we can steal that Book of Assure as well. We finally reached the point where we have more casters than Books of Assure, so they've all been assigned. But anyway, go.
Rewards valor. Show her that yours shines most bright.
Alrighty, here we go. The last time we fought the Vampire Coast with Silostra's army, we had a fairly tough time of it. I think this one is going to go quite differently. We are now in an open field battle, and we have our big old formation of knights with, of course, the mounted yeoman archers in support, and our lord and hero will immediately move to attack Mr. Robert Bartholomew, as that damn paladin, well, needs to be brought down by magical attackers. Anyway, mortar shells will come down on our units as they charge directly towards the enemy army. This little copse of trees is going to interfere a little bit. But we will actually break our neat little formation just as we start closing the distance with the enemy and separate into attacking different portions of their army. This is, after all, the first army. The second one, or the reinforcements, are arriving on the battlefield, and we've got to try to dish out as much damage as possible and to silence those guns. So, charge on in, distract, and disrupt. And damage. Distract, disrupt, damage. And it looks like it's pretty effective, as the charge has effectively neutralized all the enemy range units, while our yeoman archers are busy attacking the deck droppers, which can actually do a ton of damage in SFO, and I have a tendency to try to focus them down as fast as possible. Luckily, this is only the pistol variant rather than the handgun variant, which is even more dangerous. But they still need to be brought down, as they will fire into the backs of our units where they cannot take advantage of their shields. Looks like Robert Bartholomew is still on the field, but with 20% of his HP remaining, we are just about done dealing with him. And the monsters that he's got around. Not a moment too soon, I think, as with that the enemy reinforcements arrive on the battlefield, and we will have to start repositioning to fight them. Alright, somebody better bring this damn paladin down. Come on now. Huh, I know that he still has the glowing sword of a Grail Knight. And down he got. Wait, was it him that went, ah? Was that somebody else? Was that just a coincidence? I don't know, that's what it sounded like to me, and it tremendously amused me. Anyway, while these two are focusing on Robert, or Robert, we still have to deal with the enemy vampire fleet captain and admiral. Fortunately, they shouldn't pose too much of an issue for us, especially by comparison. On those rotting Prometheans, rather, they're quite tanky, but they're not going to do too much in the way of damage, and frankly, with arrow fire supporting, that will mean a dead admiral rather quick, or a double dead admiral rather quick. Anyway, time to close the distance with the second enemy line. We are going to take a few bombs to the face on the Knights of the Lion-Hearted, but they're pretty darn tanky and have, weathered the storm many a time before. The rest of our knights close in, ignoring the enemy Morgul Stalker, or Morgul Haunter, rather. As once again, we will leave our lord and hero to cast the monstrosity down while our knights deal with the piles of zombies. I love Morgul Haunters. They're such a freaking awesome hero unit. Probably my favorite hero unit in the game, now that I think about it. And they've just got so many good things going for them at the same time. Even without being able to cast, but I guess hero units that are casters are more like favorite caster sort of deal as opposed to just a regular hero unit. Anyway, the zombies melt away, the Morngul Hunter has been taken down by the paladins, and a few seconds remain as the last of the enemy undead crumble into nothing. And once again, the Knights of the Lion-Hearted look pretty darn fantastic. The sort of red and black color scheme, but with the black and white checkered pattern that they've got as well, is just pretty magnificent. Plus with all the sort of gold they've got. Actually, a lot of colors on them at once, but it really ties the outfit together. And the gold accents, I mean. Anyway, with that, a heroic victory, and I think this is the strength of the Vampire Coast in northern Bretonnia broken. So once again, we have saved another set of Bretonnian factions. Alrighty, there we go. Got ourselves another war banner. I still haven't decided whether I want to put this on the Man-Eaters or on the Sisters of the Thorn or something like that. The problem with the Sisters of the Thorn is that they have limited ammunition, and we don't have enough engineering knapsacks in order to, or engineers or knapsacks rather, to actually give these to everybody. I'll think about it. And the weapon strength for the Ogre Man-Eaters would obviously be more valuable. Anyway, a rather nice fight, a go figure, with I think the MVP of the fight actually going to not a unit so much as the Silver Shield on the Knights of the Lion-Hearted as they led the charge of all of those Knights Errant, but the Knights Errant are fragile and they have bronze shields, but the Knights of the Lion-Hearted were able to take a lot more range fire from the enemy and absorb it for the rest of the army and allow them to charge on in. And the same thing would go for both Hagen and his paladin friend here. Either way, a nice fight and more XP for our various knights to train them up and keep them crusading. Occupy. The Chalice of Malfleur. I mean, if we wanted to make the Fay Enchantress invincible, we could give this to her. Though she's more or less effectively invincible at this point anyway. We would have to remove the Chalice of Potions, but frankly it's not very good anyway. The hero recruit rank +5 for damsels is the thing that is good about it. But otherwise, the ability itself is basically a much weaker Comet of Cassandora. It really isn't worth much. And it's a long cooldown as well. It's kind of a meh ability. We could always swap right back to it. Oh, but I suppose it's also using a set. And therefore we'd be losing, we'd be losing the control, the +50% for the Favor of the Fay effect, duration, and armor for lords and embedded heroes for all armies faction-wide. Yeah, fine. It's a decent enough set bonus that I think we won't give you the Chalice of Malfleur. Very nice though it may be. Anyway, enemy killed in battle, war banner as we saw, blessing of the Fay, for blessing of the lady rather, for somebody, and I believe that's all we have to do this particular turn in order to end the turn. I'm just going to quickly double check, but I don't think so. As in, I don't think I've forgotten anything. For once. Although I pretty much always do, so there's a distinct likelihood that I have here. You are who again? Fleet-footed. You're supposed to join this army, yes. Which is probably going to get attacked. And we're so close to finally being able to trade with Alberic and let him do his own thing. Oh. Yeah, anyway. We'll skip outpost, here not moved, damaged building. Where is this Black Mounts? Oh, Caer Dromar. Yeah, I guess we can repair it for now. We're probably not going to hold on to these territories, but we'll see. I also don't want to invest in them while the greenskins are still up and running. Wait, 8 territories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 5, 6, 7. Where's your 8th? Could be down here somewhere. The Badlands on this map are a little bit weird, where they have a weird tendency not to display the sort of borders for various factions. Ooh, it does look like the flying fortress is under siege. I fear that we might not get to Teclis in time before he dies. We'll try to send some armies down there, but the thing about Old World is that we do have a long time to travel. But anyway, let's end the turn and see what happens. Wait, what's the caravans at? 2 and 3? We're fine. Or at the very least, we'll see if they get attacked in turn. A little bit wary of those dark elves to the north that we declared war upon, maybe with the possibility of them trying to kill off one of our caravans as it moves to Lorelorn. Alright, Blessed Dread, you will indeed sally out against the Battle Pilgrims, and that is a lot of Dark Shards now that I look at it. I'm gonna have to slightly modify the strategy of this particular force compared to what it usually would do, which is to act in 3 distinct groups. I think we can't do that. We'll have to spread our battle line out a lot more and make sure we engage all those Dark Shards in combat, otherwise they'll just tear through our poor Battle Pilgrims, or they'll ignore them and kill all of the Grail. Oh, wow. 6852. Honestly, I find the super high stats on these guys, obviously with lots and buffs and stuff, quite amusing. They are, I mean, it's a bunch of peasants carrying a skeleton and then using the horse to the skeletal horse to headbutt things. It's the funniest thing. Whenever it gets any kills, I just I'm so amused by it. I love the idea. Anyway, let's do this thing.
Fortune favors you.
Alright, I'm a liar. I immediately said we'd have to change up our formation, but then I went back to the triple formation that we've been using with this army so far. I just figured if the enemy wants to blob up in the way that it did, I figured originally that they wouldn't be quite as keeping all of their units together like this. Then we don't need to spread our formation out nearly as much. The goal, however, remains that we need to get around their flanks and at all of those range units that the enemy have. There are just too many of them, and they will dish out too much damage to our Battle Pilgrims, which are decently statted up with silver shields, mind you, but between the armor piercing and high damage that the Druki have available to them, and these guys will be looking pretty fragile before long. There are a few melee units that we need to watch out for as well, as in the enemy does have a unit of Blackguard of Nagaron, led by a master here. We're going to counter them with a unit of Battle Pilgrims led by a Friar. I mean, it's literally the only unit we have in this army, so just going to have to do our best. Fortunately, we're going to get a Soul Fire coming down on them, which will damage them a little bit, but a Death Hag will arrive to support the Master, while the Witch Elves move to start cutting down those poor Battle Pilgrims. Now, this is an atrociously bad matchup for the Battle Pilgrims, and this is exactly the kind of unit the Witch Elves would tear to shred, so we are going to buff these guys up with a Harmonic Convergence, massively increasing their stats all around. And that only allows them to keep even in terms of combat with the Witch Elves. But unsurprising. Alrighty, well, those guys who continue to fight. Our flyers have silenced the enemy artillery piece and then have surrounded the enemy Supreme Sorceress, who should be destroyed very, very quickly, as she is unfortunately on the mount. And the anti-large of the Royal Pegasus Knights will work in our favor here. Funnily enough, if she was not on the mount, if she was on foot, then the sort of knockdown animations would have kept her alive for much longer. Which I still find to be somewhat silly, but it's just the nature of the game. Anyway, all of our Battle Pilgrims are engaged in the fight now. The enemy melee units, such as they are, distracted, but it is allowing us to rush the spare units that we have of Battle Pilgrims towards the enemy range. Trying to silence them as quickly as possible. And while we don't have a lot of spare units of Battle Pilgrims, we do have enough to at least make these guys stop firing, and we have our single unit of Pegasus Knights as well to help out. Though first, they're going to go after the enemy Repeater Crossbow Dark Riders, as obviously the Battle Pilgrims would not be catching them. One of our Grail Relics nearly died here. Well, I mean, yeah. the relic itself destroyed, and then the peasants carrying it died. Getting attacked by enemy crossbow fire in combination with the enemy master, but it does look like the Black Guard of Nagarond will break. That must be pretty embarrassing for Malekith. Black Guard of Nagarond breaking to a bunch of peasants. It was just the Battle Pilgrims and a Friar after all. The Grail Knights did not help with this. Or Royal Pegasus Knights. A variant. Anyway, with the Black Guard of Nagarond breaking, the bounce power has shifted to about 85% in our favor now. Though we have now switched to attempting to make sure that we destroy every single unit that we can rather than allowing them to flee off the battlefield. It would be nice to be able to capture this settlement instead of having to wait the extra turn. But as to whether we can make it happen remains to be seen. The enemy is faster than us by the looks of it. Or at the very least, they're fresh units. Let's see, Bleak Swords are tired. Yeah, they still run fast enough to escape these guys, unfortunately. Alright, well, we'll still give it a try, but I wouldn't hold my breath on being able to destroy them all. At the very least, not being able to destroy them all as they run, but we do destroy them all in battle, as with that the enemy army is defeated. And the battle is ours. Our Friar seems to have defeated the enemy Death Hag, but admittedly the Death Hag probably also took a ton of damage from fighting the Battle Pilgrims, as she is basically unarmored and has very low melee defense as well. Lovely. Fun fight against the Dark Elves, I gotta say, for this army, and I'm enjoying the sort of Battle Pilgrim-centric army that we have here, as they can once again shine on their own. Alrighty, there we go. I tried my best to chase down that last unit of Dark Shards, but unfortunately couldn't quite manage to make it happen, so I guess we're gonna have to only occupy this thing next turn. Otherwise, though, the battle went reasonably well in our favor. Took severe damage in one of the Grail relics. In fact, it looked like it was going to die there for a bit, at about 10% or so of its HP, but we managed to just get it out of the fighting and recover it. And yeah, I still find that the cooldown on the spell or the ability of the Grail relics is just insanely... what would be the correct word for it? Not overtuned. It shouldn't have like a 2-minute cooldown or a 3-minute cooldown in melee or whatever it is, because battles almost never last long enough for you to actually be able to use it, except in very rare situations. I don't know. Seems unnecessary. But anyway, Dragon Helm free, we got, not a lot of cash. If we execute, yeah, you know what, if we execute captives right now, we would still be able to benefit from the movement range, extra movement range for 1 turn, so I guess we'll execute the captives, why not? Hopefully we didn't get punted out of the siege, as that does happen sometimes, and it is tremendously annoying when it does. Oh, damn, Reichland. Oh, this was not the time. This was absolutely not the time. I wanted to get more Ogre mercenaries from the camps. Well, that's what I get, and I had just gotten the military alliance with Reichland in order to get access to their units, and now they force us into a war with the Man-Eaters, but, well, what can you do? Enter war inside of Ella, I guess. Irritating though it is. I wonder if they'd immediately be willing to peace out. We'll see what Golgi does. Because if they peace out, we should quickly try to grab their extra units. Military alliance with... Oh! Thorgrim's actually asking for military alliance. That's nice. We're going to hold off on this for now, though. We could, in theory, get it any time we want by giving him one of the territories to the north. Gorbed wants peace? That's not happening. And I'm wondering, where in the order is Golgi? Has he moved already, or has he not? Because if he hasn't, most likely he'll attack us. Well, speaking of attacking us, does look like Mr. Iber Hackbile and the 2 Slaaneshi stacks here will be moving towards us, and it should be a difficult fight. It may not be the mask, but we got a lot of scary stuff. 9 units of spawn of Slaanesh is kind of insane, and we got 2 Praeton as well, which could be very dangerous, or will most likely be very dangerous for our knights. They have Shower of Torment, Narcissism, and Sweet Sorrow, eh? Yeah, this is gonna be a Pyrrhic victory, I hope, and not, yeah, the Chaos Spawn are gonna be the biggest issue here. Well, let's find out. Find out if we can pull it off. Go.
The lady rewards valor. Show her that yours shines most bright.
Alrighty, here we go. We've got another potentially very tough fight for us because we are outnumbered 2-1. And regardless of the tier of the Slaaneshi troops, due to their speed and charge bonuses, we are liable to take a lot of damage. I mean, even the tier 2 and 1 units are potentially able to dish out a ton, like the Slangors with 44 charge, 51 melee attack, and bleed on them as well. Not to mention the other stats that they have here. Now they will hit us harder if the unit takes damage. Go figure. Okay, well, the one saving grace here is that we have this little tiny area on the map which works quite nicely for us. Mostly this is just a clear battlefield without too many sort of bits of obstructing terrain, but here we have this little cliffside that's like a U, and we can put our 3 artillery pieces to where they're mostly protected, at the very least from 3 sides, as well as being able to protect our right flank with this little house here. Hopefully this will prevent the enemy from surrounding us too quickly, or rushing through our lines and getting at the artillery pieces. In that light, we put the Beast Slayers of Bastogne here, where they're most likely going to be able to, or at least hopefully, will be able to absorb the charge. Oh, I like this helmet. Absorb the charge from the enemy that will attempt to get towards the artillery. Speaking of charges, over on both flanks, the enemy has a ton of cavalry moving around. And we're going to establish cavalry superiority fairly quickly here, I'd wager. The unfortunate aspect for the enemy army here is that their cavalry is the Hellstriders rather than the Seekers. Thus, they are not going to be a threat to our questing knights or our Knights of the Realm, and we should be able to absolutely annihilate them. The first thing we did, however, was to establish air superiority, as over on the left flank, the Franciscus has closed the distance with one of the enemy Praeton, and then all the way on the other side of the map, the same thing is happening as our Royal Hippogriff Knights engage the other Praeton on field, which is also similarly down to about half HP. Though we have left less knights, rather, on the right flank, we will still charge the Knights of the Realm into those Hellstriders. Try to knock out as many of them as possible as quickly as we can. At the very least, before all the enemy infantry and monstrous infantry alike closes the distance and forces our knights to back off. And luckily, those Hellstriders are pretty darn fragile, and they are going to get knocked out of the picture. We will start moving away from the left flank now as our cav charges through and away from the enemy monstrous infantry, while Franciscus closes the distance with our main line, where the enemy is attacking with its Cultists of Slaanesh, and I think there was another hero somewhere. Chaos Sorcerer? Yeah, there's a Chaos Sorcerer and a Cultist, and that's for Franciscus, who has already gotten the Cultist down to half HP. The Knights are still riding around in the center of the enemy formation now, as it seems that the enemy has deployed more of its monstrous infantry on both the left and the right flanks, presumably to protect their cav, I'm not entirely sure. But that's allowing us to dish out additional damage to the enemy center. And basically, wherever the enemy monstrous infantry aren't guarding their infantry, our cav now has, I guess, cavalry superiority, as we've destroyed most of the enemy Hellstriders, and they can't press them. Attack the enemy infantry, back away from the monstrous infantry, allow the monstrous infantry to engage with our foot squires and battle pilgrims, and then continue obliterating the enemy infantry. while our Hippogriff riders and Franciscus himself then move to attack the enemy monsters. Still, even with all that, the enemy has definitely started to press us from every direction, I guess. Horribly outnumbered means that we still get surrounded, even with all the damage we've dealt, but we've been doing a pretty good job in keeping the enemy from getting to our artillery pieces. They're actually still trying to rush through our lines and get at those artillery, but thusly we managed to keep a couple of extra units in reserve to get ready to react to such a thing. Going to disrupt some of the enemy formations with an awakening in the wood, and we did pop off a brief dwellers below right here as the enemy tried to get around this cliffside, which probably did a fair bit of damage. Out of curiosity, 235 kills and 53k damage. Probably take away like 5k of that from the Awakening of the Wood, but still very solid for a single spell. Alrighty, and it looks like the battle has started to turn our way. The Demonettes are looking to be on the verge of banishment, while the mortal units are starting to flee. Of course, the massive piles of Chaos Spawn are still in the fight, but keep in mind that our Knights of the Realm in this army are all anti-large, and they should be able to help against those Chaos Spawn quite well. Surrounded by the Foot Squires, the Knights of the Realm, and the Hippogriffs, we start to bring the Chaos Spawn down in droves. There are still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of their units still fighting, though with different numbers of models depending on the unit. Beast Slayers of Beston, I'm sure, are happy here that we still have to deliver them to Bowmen Beast Slayer. But at the very least, they can use those polearms of theirs to keep bringing down the spawn and be nicely trained up for when they join Mr. Bowmen. Otherwise, not much to say. The bounce power is 95% in our favor, and only the unbreakable Chaos Spawn remain on field as the demons have melted and the mortals are in the process of being chased down by our knights, and just so as few escape as possible. I doubt that we can catch them all, especially as I'm willing to bet that some of the Hellstriders will have escaped. But the more units that are destroyed, the less we have to worry about the potential of having to refight the fight, as opposed to auto-resolving what remains in the enemy settlement. I like that the Beast Slayers have the Heraldry of Beston aloft on their banner. Although I still find it a little bit weird that the guy holding the banner is not using the same color scheme, but whatever, maybe they want him to be pick-outable. Or maybe it does make sense that since they're fighting for the Carcassonne faction, that it is the fella with a Carcassonne color scheme instead. Anyway, with that, only, 1 or 2 units of Chaos Spawn, or models of Chaos Spawn remains. Ooh, one of them gets brought down by artillery fire, and it looks like the second one quickly falls as well, finally giving the battle to us. Very, very nice. We actually took way less damage than I thought we would here. It looks like most of the damage on the Pied Ferme and I believe they're Foot Squires. And frankly, their model losses weren't all that high either, so they'll probably recover quite nicely. A very nice fight and a solid... I wonder if this is going to be a heroic victory for Franciscus, but it's a nice victory regardless of what it is. Ooh, alrighty. I gotta say, heroic victory, and it was a pretty great fight. It was a really good showcase of how what appeared to be just a regular sort of field battle with little in the changes of terrain, or little in the way of different terrain types and all that. And that tiny little part on the map gave us such a huge advantage. Our 3 trebuchets completely protected from, well, 3 sides by that little plateau, and the just generally cliffside and impassable terrain of the house helped protect and anchor the rest of our lines. It went really, really well by virtue of that. in a situation where we were so horrifically outnumbered. Lovely work from Franciscus. He's been doing a pretty good job over the course of this campaign. Companions of Quinel, unsurprisingly, 59,000 damage, 43k for Night Shift here. Very solid as well, and beating out all of the other named knights here by a pretty wide margin. For the Trebuchets, Stone Skippers, similarly double that of the damage of the rest, and while the Royal Hippogriff Knights are always going to do very, very well, that's never going to be a surprise of any kind. Technically speaking, we only have the 2 units of Battle Pilgrims here, but the Men-at-Arms did quite well, and just by a slight margin, one of the unnamed Foot Squires beats the Guardian de la Corona, and I believe that's it for this particular army. A very nice fight. We're taking the money, 3.2k. If it was 1k, I might forgo it, but oh, block army. Oh, you garbage. And what is this success? Assault garrison, okay. Kazring, oh, you want peace now, buddy? Maybe you shouldn't have randomly attacked us. Underway interception. No, I mean, he has a lot of mana, so he probably could cheese it, but it feels, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Feels kind of obnoxious, and they went to this side. That's interesting. Probably trying to catch these two. I wonder if these guys are gonna try to chase him down. Kind of an interesting situation. Alright, enemy killed in battle, Alanis. Okay, these are just some of the enemies that we fought. I was just like, I don't remember who you are or where you're from, so just, yeah. Lance of Artois, oh, right, that Chilfoy, he was waiting for rank 13. Hippogriff or Hagen de Gisoro, oh, finally. Yeah, okay, wait, can we take a look at him in some manner? One moment. Where are you going? You are going to Greskar Castle, but that's full of Moors rats, is it not? Confederation between Talzin and Torgavon. Why are you still doing this? You're literally not at war with anybody. Wood Elves don't have Confederation text, do that? I played Wood Elves relatively not that long ago, but I don't remember. I'm just finding it weird that they're just confederating each other so much where, I don't know, they're pretty reasonably powerful factions. They're not fighting anybody, so what would be the point of giving up your autonomy and all that? 25% income from raiding. Not that we're Blessing lost. Who Blessing lost? Why Blessing? Oh, because one of you did not intercept? oh, game. Come on now. Brutal Business, increasing everybody's weapon strength faction-wide. Actually, fairly decent for us since we use a lot of peasantry. I feel like I forgot something here. We could do the Lords of Athenor. Oh, you know what we could do? We could do Secure Shores Decree. We have been fighting Dark Elves rather a little bit. Yeah, let's go Secure Shores Decree. Why not? I feel like if we don't, we'll, miss our chance. You, Malene, can go to Karakazor. And I'm actually interested to see whether they might sally out here. They've got a very solid stack. 4 units of iron. In fact, considering the heavy armor in this particular army, this is actually concerning for this particular army of ours. Which is not that bad of a thing, because it makes me excited. Bowmen Beastslayer. Oh, I was hoping you were up here, but you're probably going to take Domatburg, aren't you? Not much we could do about this. Maybe they'll go for Khazad Weirworn and these guys will knock them out. I don't know if we could borrow their armies, but I don't know. Since we use the mod, I feel like it should. Anyway, you will proceed to Elemento. Let's see if we can't reach it in one go. Like so. And is this worth fighting? I mean, technically this army hasn't fought yet. The Razor Standard is supposed to go to the 2 Beast Slayers of Baston, so you're going to wait until we get the second one. I will think about it. We may fight this, and we may not, depending. You, Man-Eaters, you are willing to immediately peace out. Now, these guys would be pissed about it, but I'd really rather have their... I'd really rather have their units, so we're gonna peace out with them and keep making use of their camps. We'll probably wipe them out later on, but for now, more mercenaries, please. Speaking of mercenaries, Luan Didoho. Oh, right, actually. We were going to switch you with Renee here because I prefer, I think, to use the lore of beasts for the caravan over the lore of heavens, just because it's better from a, you know, not getting obliterated by range perspective. It just seems to be the way to go. Then you are going to pick up your 2 Erimo Chasseur Outriders, and we'll pop the... This is your guy, right? I think this is your guy. I'm gonna assume it is. Tough Friar in here.
I have seen
And there we go. With that, this army is almost complete. The only major thing missing being the replacement of the peasantry with more highly armored peasantry,
Your coming was foretold.
which have recently been recruited. Now, I assume that these guys wouldn't attack us immediately since we just pieced out, so... Should we move you here, though? If you're in Khazad-dûr Warren, because you have a unit of Grail Knights... Damn it, fine. Go into Khazad-dûr Warren. If they attack you, you should be able to take them out.
It shall come to
You guys,
pass.
however, will reinforce here.
Devotee of the lady. Sorceress. Impossible.
Like so.
Your behest.
To be in the way of each other. Oh, you're probably not going to be able to reinforce anyway. Yeah, just the one of you. I should have moved the one first, then the other one, but anyway. Do you have spells? You do not. You have a basic harmonic convergence, though, and you're supposed to use 10th share and muster the farmhands and stuff like that, so yeah, we'll get the Shield of Faith on the Friar, though. Like so. And we'll see what these guys do. If they attack here, they'll lose because the single Grail Knight unit could probably clear out their army. If they go for Domatberg, it'll be much more of an iffy situation. Anyway, wait. You reached rank 10, meaning you can go Peasant's Purpose, Arcane Wisdom, Muster the Farmhands, and Among the Trees is actually a pretty decent if we want to use you as an actual lord, but for now, we'll go for 10th share. Like so. And gotta go the Vampire Coast. Yes. Scroll of Amber. Oh, come on. Give us better rewards. Then, Luan and... Okay, well, actually, Renee, since you've got the full stack, you're gonna march all the way over here, and we're gonna hit Moslak and Vidovdan. And then we will rather rapidly have to move down here to deal with Gorbat as soon as we're done with these frickin' dwarves. And oh wow, I didn't realize you were in range. Huh. I should have put you into march stance. We probably could have taken Moslak easily, although actually we probably still can. You go here, Lefem Nikita, go to Vidovdan. I want to see if there's anybody over there. I don't think there is, though. I think you're okay. Alright, deal with this in a second. You will reinforce.
I know the way.
Keep getting that XP.
I have seen your tear it down.
And Vidovdan is probably similarly poorly defended, meaning we're most likely going to be able to take it with you two without needing to use Renee, which is actually probably pretty good for us. Auto-resolve this. And occupy it. Like so. And lose the Scroll of Amber, please. Keep the Pit Fighter, don't care about the Scepter of Stability. Oh, we do get 2 arcane items, though, meaning we can put them to use pretty much immediately. You can go into Realm of Chivalry, and... arcane items. We'll keep an eye on that Chalice of Malphur and use it on somebody. Let's go Scepter of Stability, Scroll of Amber. Into what, another Trickster Shard? I mean, fair enough. I don't even remember who has this. Leonie of the Braid and Deline Dragondram. I have no idea.
What is your behest?
Actually you're supposed to join Rapon, so while I have you. Whose casters are you? I'm just wondering whether they need to be moved to another army. I'm going to assume that whoever's casters those are there as they're supposed to be.
Alberic, the border.
Beware your blind spot.
Not your casters. I will remember. Is it you two? No, you have a Forbidden Rod and you have Book. Okay, whatever. I give up. I don't care. You take Cabreros. Yeah, just take Cabreros. And auto-resolve what remains here.
Treat this
Occupy.
place as thy own.
And that's a
Lord
lovely...
of
Oh,
Bretonnia.
actually, only tier 2. So not so lovely. But it's something. And something is better than nothing. Purifier, good for your enemy leadership reduction from what? Gained by executing captives. Huh, that's a pretty positive trait. Okay, guess we gotta execute more captives. Go figure. This is what the game pushes you to do. You can take Laqueno. Oh, you're the one with the casters. Yes, you have the 2 Trickster Shard. I was gonna get a 3rd Trickster Shard and then use the Casket of anti-magic on you. Here, I wanted to get another Damsel of the Rejuvenator variety.
Damsel.
Like so, and you will join Jolene.
Slay them.
And I want you on a Barded Warhorse rather than the Pegasus, and I would like you to use an Opal Amulet as well as a Trickster Shard. Alright, so let's just do this immediately, because otherwise I'll forget. Not the Forbidden Rods, those are only for Lore of Life. You get the Trickster Shard, and... do we actually have... Oh, we don't have any spare Opal Amulets. I guess we could take it from... Ugo and Guy both have one. That's gonna bother me. Alright, take it one from one of these guys, whatever. It's just that these damsels are likely to actually be in the fight, so they need the armor and the emergency ward save a fair bit. No choice in the matter. Or at least little choice in the matter. Anyway, you can auto-resolve this now. What? Oh, did I not build the... Huh. I swear I did.
Our Lady.
Weird. Okay, well, whatever. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Just gonna have to deal with it. You, can you go to Reganos? You can, but is there anybody who can punish us for being here? I don't see anybody. Looks like we're okay.
What would you
Alright,
have
you
of
sit
me?
at Zaragaz. You, Apolline Dragon Drum. Oh, that's why I got confused, because there's 2 Dragon Drums. Alright. You can't actually join this army, because I don't want the Paladin to leave while we are gaining or in need of additional XP. It would be nice for you to gain additional XP yourself, but I wouldn't... Yeah, I wouldn't take anybody out of this army at this time. Therefore, you're just going to go for Reganos, and you're going to stay nearby and get ready to join the army when we need you. Like so.
What would you
And...
have of me?
like so. Alright. Occupy. Alright, Slaneshi are having a pretty bad time with all this. Hey, another armor of silvered steel and a blessing of the lady as well. You don't need the clothier here, and... oh wow, the Slaneshi corruption is still rising despite all of the court jesters. Wow. Okay. Ah, rank 4. Getting there. Soon. Actual upgrades. Anyway, Fay Enchantress. 'Tis time for you to move once more and get towards the Ironclaw orcs that are occupying not Solent as they should be, but Averland, I guess? Upper Reich River, a little bit short of, Averheim. You can go here and re-deliver to the Fay Enchantress her last, her last unit. They've been fairly helpful, Eleanor. Huh. You didn't rank up recently, did you? Gotta double check 1 second. Eleanor, what you got? You have Arcane Wisdom, you don't need Muster the Farmhands, and since you have Bark Skin, I may actually make an army for you. Maybe I'll global recruit an army for you. Just out here. Might be the way to do it. Okay, I'll think about it. Anyway, Caravans are good. We have 8 turns remaining of the Green Knight. Oh, speaking of the Green Knight, you probably will have leveled. Just the once, mind you, but nonetheless, ooh, another 20% for the trebuchets. I gotta go with the trebuchets. We're using a fair few of them now all over the place, so yeah. Bertrand, go grab Alençon, please. And more rats. Huh, and it's more Moors rats. Interesting. Okay, don't declare war on them yet. Go to here. Okay, I couldn't click on it for a second. Is this also full of rats? Yes, wow. Okay, apparently Moors has got... How the heck did Moors get this much territory up here? I guess they got one ruin, and then from there they just spread up. You know, it's the rats. The thing is, we saw that they had an army at Grascar Castle, and thusly, I don't necessarily want to attack them, because they would move towards Oussillon, and... Oussillon is not going to be able to defend itself, which I don't like. Are you able to reach Soleil from here? Soleil? It's just sun? That's easy. Okay, anyway, you
Loyal to the lion.
would be better in the siege against Lyonesse than you, because you're still damaged. Can you win this, though? I mean, it would be less tough than when we fought Silostra, but it would still be fairly tough while damaged as we are. And you're still unable to rank up, eh? Nonetheless, we could just besiege it. Alright, besiege it, and I don't know why I put you into the crusade stance. You're able to reach Soleil, so go for Soleil. These guys are pretty much done anyway. And ooh, there's that. Whoa. Deathmaster Snitch. Okay, wait. When you sit here, these guys will most likely sally out and give you another fight. Oh, we're just short of reaching Snitchy. Well, that's a shame, but go to Soleil then. I wonder if that song is like... What? This? Okay, I will do this between the episodes, because that's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. And anyway, what I had forgotten that I interrupted myself was I really wanted the hippogriff for Hagen de Gisoro. I mean, look at this guy. He looks absolutely magnificent with the hippogriff, the antlers on its armor, the color scheme. Can't wait to see him on field with his new mount, because probably the best looking of the dukes overall. Absolutely lovely. Anyway, let's ignore that for now, or at the very least, I'll do that between the episodes. This we will allow to sally out, but in the meantime, we can probably pick up a few things. Earthblood, I guess. House Protection is also a really good choice for this particular upcoming fight, but we'll see. Let's also grab Esteemed Combatant, because it will enable us to fight better and get us a little bit closer to Retinue Trainer, which we are in extremely desperate need of. Oh yeah, we're down to 5.0 reload rate on those blessed trebuchets thanks to the 20% buff that we just got out of the Green Knight. Can't believe you...
By the lady.
Really could have used that siege attacker, but whatever. What can you do? Alrighty, we'll leave Bertrand where he is for now. We'll have to deal with Clan Moors anyway. It's not like we could trust Lewin to do anything. Yumelin, we will wait for them to sally out as well. Lots of sallying, but if they're going to sally out, we're going to want to apply skill points. We have Dwellers Below maxed out here. Frankly, you won't get too much value out of any of this, because you're mostly a ranged army. So I'm inclined to say we should max out your magical capabilities before anything else. Let's grab a Shield of Thorns, which has the dual use of getting the missile resistance reduction, which would be quite helpful potentially. And let's go for Regrowth and, I'm going to say, Earthblood. Don't get me wrong, I do use the occasional emergency Flesh to Stone, but it is rare compared to most of the other spells. I do like to cast it on the tip of the spear, though, especially with knightly charges, as that unit is liable to take a lot of range fire, and then Flesh to Stone, keeping them alive, works out really well. Anyway, Retinue Quartermaster, or do we get... I feel like we should still move towards Benediction, even if it's not the most necessary here, so let's go through Impassioned right now. Alright, you're ready for the fight, potentially. Already remains to be seen. Alright, so Franciscus is fine, Malene, that's you, Inez, Verna, Fleur. Gustav, you're supposed to join Chilfoy. Alberic is in range of the rats. I wonder, if we push this rat this way, can we push it towards this rat and thereby attack both rats? Is that a possibility here? Feel like it might be. That's what I like to see. We should probably reinforce with Chilfoy just to gain the additional XP, although I did want him to meet up with Gustav. We can just wait until next turn, I guess. Alright, so you're gonna head into Varay. And I guess defend it if in case these guys come around. Matahari, you can also steal tech while you're here. Or while I have you. Nice, success. You will join Franciscus once we trade troops. There's still a lot of territory. These guys will probably recover at least 1 or 2 armies before anything else. Anyway, you will go into regular stance and move to reinforce as Alberic attacks Trab the Infectious. And the 2 of you, you got your unique line, right? Oh, you did not get Jousting Champion. +8/+8 for Duke Chauffeur while wielding lance. Sure.
How befitting.
While wielding lance means not on sword or not on horse, basically. What about Pegasus?
As I expected.
Pegasus, you are wielding a nothing. Well, that's helpful. I assume that he has a lance here, or is supposed to have a lance. It just looks like he has nothing. What? I just want to see the stat changes. Barded War Horse is -6, but this was clearly a sword. And this is +8/+8. And why would the Jousting Champion not have the lance on horse? I don't know, whatever, man. Whatever, man. Alright, let's ignore that. Alberic, I guess it's time to fight and use those Oceans. We'll have to be careful as they're still pretty beat up. But it is what it is. Alberic, you have a few points that we can apply. Chivalric Code does not help with the type of knights that you're using. It's all Glorfiniel's progeny and worshippers of the Grail, by and large, that we want for your army. Therefore, we're pretty much free to grab... We already have Lady's Mantle. I'm gonna say hard to hit and scarred vet. Might as well just try to move towards flow of battle. It's already a pretty nasty fighter, and he can get nastier. It's a nasty giggle. Anyway, let's have Alberic strike.
Deliver justice.
Deliver justice indeed. Low casualties, but I think still worthy of our attention. It's only decisive victory, low casualties, because we have the 2nd army reinforcing. If it was just the 1, it wouldn't. So, yeah.
Today, Bretonnia rejoices, for we are her shield.
Alrighty, here we go. And maybe it is time for Bretonnia to start rejoicing as more and more threats are knocked out of the picture. And speaking of knocking out various threats, in this particular campaign, or in this particular episode, I'm really enjoying the variety, right? We fought Vampire Coast, Dark Elves, Slaanesh, and now Skaven. A variety of foes is always a great thing. Especially as, obviously, with the Warhammer Total War title as opposed to a historical title, your battles are going to feel very, very different depending on which factions you're facing off against. Or at the very least, much more different. Anyway, we start the battle up by charging directly into the enemy formation, and by the looks of it, taking out the Warp Grinder, a little bit of damage on the Knights of the Realm as 6 units get killed off by a Warp Lightning Blast from Trab the Infectious, but he's the only unit left very quickly. And gets knocked to the ground by Alberic, and will probably get torn to shreds in a rather short order. Although the enemy reinforcements have arrived, and our own are about to make their way onto the battlefield in 20 seconds. We are a little bit far, so there is some travel time here, so we're going to set up on this hill and await the arrival of the enemy. Or at the very least, await our own units to move closer to us. But we do have a lot of peasants that are going to be pretty slow, like the range units. And I do probably want to add their bows to the fight. Or maybe they don't, I don't know, but we want them to. Anyway, this is Alberic's army, and now we've got the Oceanids to represent the Wrath of Manan in this particular army. I don't like any of the water elemental sort of creatures, but theme-wise it does make sense, so I went with the suggestion to add them here. In this particular army, I'm willing to let it go. I will probably see them fight a little bit, though with the sheer amount of knights that we have on the field now, with the questing knights having arrived, and all of the knights that were with Alberic, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't really need them. Anyway, the enemy has arrived on field, and this time we've actually drawn a fairly wide battle line, at the very least if we count the knights. And we're going to try to charge either through or around the enemy to get at the enemy artillery pieces, because as we've seen before, the trebuchets aren't very good in counter-battery fire, and will, generally speaking, seemingly lose. So it's better to just silence the enemy guns by targeting them directly in melee, which we're about to start doing right about now. Alrighty, so Alberic will start the day. Over on the left flank, we got 5 knights moving. The questing knights will charge directly through the enemy lines, but the more fragile knights errant are free to close with the enemy artillery pieces. Alright, Knights of the Realm from the front and questing knights from the flanks. Of course, we will get hit with the seismic snares and warp quakes, but I think we are still able to close the distance with the poor units of warp grinders. First, we will get hit with another of those darn warp lightnings before we can knock the hero out. But regardless of the fact that the quake will dish out plenty of damage to our knightly units, which lose about 20% of their HP, we knock out pretty much all of the warp grinders for our trouble. It looks like the Oceanas will rush ahead of the peasantry because they are considerably faster, moving about twice the speed. Can't quite keep up with knights, but still very solid in terms of their speed. And frankly, they're here to bolster the line of the, whether it be foot knights or whether it be foot squires. And so them absorbing the HP from the enemy is working quite well for us with their massive 50% physical resistance. Though alas, they won't need to be in the fight for very long, as we saw the charges of all those knights pretty much shatter the enemy army, and with that, the battle is ours. Not to worry though, now that the armies have sort of closed the distance with each other, we'll soon be able to split off the various forces, and Alberic will be able to make more use of foot knights in combination with those Oceanas. Anyway. Alrighty, there we go. Obviously, once again, Alberic is waiting to swap out some of his units, but until he does, this army works pretty darn well, even if it has, well, with Chilfoy backing him up, twice as many knights as he wants to have. Or maybe not wants, as he will have. Or at the very least, twice as many, because I wanted foot knights and non-foot knights, but all knights of the realm with his army, eventually. Either way, though, did well, a little bit of work out of the foot squires and the Oceanas and all that, but against only a single stack, the knights basically obliterated them long before the peasantry really were needed to act as an anvil. An errantry banner. We got a couple of those. Got to decide where to put them. Sword of Battle is okay for a common item. You're not able to directly go to Scabbridge. You are able to go directly to Scabbridge from here. Ah. I mean, I do like that. I prefer not to have to deal with the rats anymore. At least out here. Let's see what they've got in terms of defenses. Decent defenses, and by the looks of it, the game says we won't win the fight, eh? You have to go into March stance by the looks of it in order to reinforce. Oh, can you even reinforce? I guess we're about to find out. Yes, you can. And with you reinforcing, one of the Oceanids will die, but otherwise we're fine. Alright, well, while I'd love to do that and knock out these random rats of Clan Scab for good, why random? Because they randomly declared war on us. And that's the word I decided upon. Anyway, we're out of time, and I think this is where I'm going to call this episode. Next time, we will finally meet up with these guys and swap armies, and, well, with Gustav and Franciscus, everybody here, basically, meet up, swap units. We will continue our fight against the Slaneshi with our various armies, and we'll probably reinforce with Volkar, and we'll hopefully knock out the Karakazor dwarfs for good. Once again, I might might fight Elementor, I might just auto-resolve it. It's not like we're going to get a lot of chances to fight dwarfs, so this might be fun just by virtue of that. Plus, I will do that little tiny garbage battle up north between the episodes because it's absolutely insane that the game thinks that this army full of knights would lose a bunch of units to this garbage.
Destiny awaits.
But that's the auto-resolve for you. And I'll move the tech thieves and all of that between the episodes as well, just to not waste time for next time. Oh, and we can continue advancing against the Dark Elves as well, can't we? Yeah, you can actually reach Fort Solace from here, which is actually probably poorly enough defended that you can auto-resolve it. I wonder if there's anybody... No military presence. These guys are not having a good time. We might fight the Fort Solace battle, depending... they should have a tier 5 here at Seathil, although they might not. I just want to get a nice fight going for our flying army, so we might fight Fort Solace just by virtue of the fact that I want to see those flyers go over the walls, while the little unclean ones and all the other peasants, you know, take arrows to the face as they do. Hey, their comrades have taken nukes to the face. Ow, they wiped out the camp here. That's annoying. I guess we reset Esme. We could also use her, or come down here to use her to deliver stuff. We should probably buy stuff from this camp before he gets wiped out as well. Oh, frickin' Empire randomly attacking the man-eaters. Oh well, yeah, reset you. And we'll send you elsewhere. Yes. Since you're not needed out here anymore. Anyway, like I said, we're out of time, more to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, as they will determine how long we keep this campaign running for. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.